left them there for years. These people were never even allowed back into their homes. So the city lost an enormous number of its skilled African-American craftsmen and laborers. The city subsequently tore down most of its public housing and rebuilt with mixed income condominiums and apartments, and they only qualified people who were in the upper ranks of the income category.
But let's look on the brighter side, because there were clearly charitable workers, philanthropic workers, also played a part in the rebuilding, and they at least constituted some welcome relief, if you like, from the inadequacies of the for-profit companies.
Absolutely, and this is the labors of faith part of the book, in which we see the outpouring of enormous numbers of volunteers who arrived to New Orleans to help from all over the world. These were largely organized by faith groups, but it wasn't just faith groups. And I have to say, this is not simply a response to the failure of the market. It is actually built into the market in America since the era of George Bush Sr., when he called for 1,000 points of light to come out and do charity work, let the faith-based sector fill in the safety net for the declining support that the government would give to it. So you have two things that happened historically. One was increasing privatization of public services, and on the other hand you have the delivering of large government organizations that are set up to sponsor and give support to faith-based volunteer charity work in the United States. And this is absolutely what happened in New Orleans. And on the one hand, it worked incredibly well. People came in and rebuilt from the ground up pretty much on their own. But the sad part about this is that the very same company that got federal resources to run the Road Home program and failed miserably to provide aid to people actually remarketed itself and became interested in getting government funds to help organize faith-based neighborhood volunteer organizations.
But let's turn to Phil for a moment. I mean, do you recognise this story? I mean, the big society, if you like, the David Cameron big society in operation.
Yes, but we don't have the grassroots church organization in such a depth with such a commitment. So we have to say that in general, our social services might appear stronger on paper. Our community-based organizations are considerably weaker than is my experience of the United States.
Coming to you, Peter, what would you say are the wider lessons in the post-Katrina recovery in New Orleans?
If we give the resources to the private sector to do this work, there will be an inefficiency of profit that will make it fail even worse. Therefore, we need to protect the public sector, and getting the market out of it that really becomes important.
Listening there to what Vincent is saying, only recently we've been dealing with ongoing floods in the United Kingdom. Now, obviously crass to compare the two. I mean, we're talking about thousands of deaths in the New Orleans tragedy. But are there any parallels you can draw in terms of the events which led up to both of these?
It's quite intriguing, because I think we have, as the title of the book says, we too have markers of sorrow in labors of faith. It's very obvious at the present moment that our floods have hit the rural areas. They're very important for votes for the Conservative Party, but they're not where the Conservative Party invests. The investment in flood limitations to date and the focus of our emergency services will be on London, where there is so much more property. There are whole questions about what kind of responsibility we can expect of the Environment Agency, when in fact their budgets are continually being reduced. And we too are transferring work from local authority practices to private practice. It is always subcontracted out for the actual work itself, but they have oversight. But they have less and less power of oversight, as they've effectively lost 25% of their staff since the budget cuts implied by our austerity program came in.
Well, I was talking there to Bill O'Keefe and to Vincent Adams. I remember that last week we were discussing a book by Gregory Clark called The Sun Also Rises, S-O-N, an account of the manner in which certain surnames, Pepys, Berners, Rusbridge, Bazalgette, Pakenham, seem to enjoy high social status over long periods of history, in some cases over as many as 17 generations. Well, this suggested to the author there must be some sort of genetic component involved. Ian Salisbury added an interesting twist. Dear Laurie, first names provide a classic example of nominative determinism. with, quote, advantageous names, unquote, like Elizabeth and John, outnumbering, quote, made-up names such as Shane, Jade and Chelsea by 80-1 among Oxbridge undergraduates. Since these names are fully under the control of families, it suggests that parental attitude may be as important to factoring child development as genetics. Alison Roberts also raised her hand. Yes, Alison. Doris